I was so fucked up at that Renaissance fair.
Right.
I got challenged to a duel, and penis joke, insert. Oh!
This podcast is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed. Spoiler warning for whatever is in the title of this episode.
I was just reading a scary book.
Oh my god, this is terrible. When did they get to killing the children?
This is literature? A 2-year-old could have written this.
We will be requiring a bedtime story.
Oh, I don't like this book. This is going on forever.
Oh, I just wanted to see kids fight to the death is all.
Look at me! I'm enjoying reading!
Welcome to episode 155 of The Horror of Babylon, where we discuss The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King by j.r.r. Tolkien. I am Ryan. With me, as always, is Daniel. Say hi, Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
And Hef's here, too.
How y'all doing? Good to be here.
We returned from hiatus, and we're reviewing The Return of the King.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. No.
I just realized that.
This is The Return of the Kings.
It's The Return of the Kings. Oh, the three kings from the Bible. Was it the wise men or the kings who brought like the gold and the myrrh?
There's the three wise men.
There's the three wise men. Okay, it was gold, myrrh, and what was the other thing? Frankincense. Like, what the fuck? This kid's like, I don't want myrrh and frankincense. It's the shittiest birthday present. Sorry.
Jesus was notable about this in the Bible.
Yeah. He was actually like a super big brat. That's like, there's not very many chapters about him as a kid because he was just like a super shitty kid. Sorry.
This is where the Jesus who learned to control his powers came in.
Yeah.
We're just gonna remake Chronicle, but with Jesus.
Jesus didn't really get a sense of the responsibility he had until after Uncle Ben died. Okay, but I would be sad if these people were my Uncle Ben and they died.
And not just because they give us money.
Yeah, which they still do. I checked today. Thank you to our patrons, including Uncle Ben, the Full Metal patron, Logan, Uncle Logan, the Full Metal patron.
We're kind of out of practice.
We're out of practice.
We're super, yeah. And Uncle Sierra, the Keyblade patron. Web. Get in there and web it up. Underoos.
Whip.
Yep.
What's that the noise it makes?
I don't know.
I don't know. Wolverine makes shick.
Oh, because of the razors. Shick.
Yeah. Oh, that's such bullshit.
Well, he obviously uses a razor because he's got the whole like mutton chop thing going on.
But he has super healing. Wouldn't it just grow back super quick?
I don't know.
Question we never considered here on the Horror of Babylon.
That sounds like a cold open for the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, sorry. I'm gonna shut the fuck up.
And speaking of cold and openings, thank you to Four Horsemen Comics and Gaming, which you can visit at the Morgantown Mall in Morgantown, West Virginia, the mall at Robinson in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You can shop online at fourhorsemen.tcgplayerpro.com. And if you make it in the store, say hello to Wolvie himself, Ronald III, Grampus of Christmas, who knows a little bit about chick razors because he uses one every day. I've never, ever seen him with even, like, me, I'm bald, but, like, I have, like, a 5 o'clock shadow on my head, like, every other day. Like, because there are days where I'm just like, fuck it, I don't care. And it's just like, but not him. Always 100% like a newborn baby's ass.
Pure skin.
Pure skin. Yeah.
Go up to the Four Horsemen, buy all your Final Fantasy cards there.
Yeah, pre-order, what's the set actually called? Final Fantasy...
I think it's just Final Fantasy.
Like Realms Beyond Final Fantasy.
Realms Beyond Final Fantasy.
Universes Beyond,
Yeah. Alright, so yeah, buy Magic cards there. And also the Final Fantasy card game, which they have a community for.
And ask Ron if he remembers you, only for him to look at you and be like, oh, not even a little.
No, not even a little.
I love that, man.
Trigger warning, this never-ending stories with multiple endings, stories that don't end, and ghosts. If you don't like ghosts.
Yeah, I mean, if ghosts spook you.
Yeah.
I had some jokes here, but I think I'm just gonna skip them.
Okay. Yeah, and Warning, so we've been off for a hiatus for a while. We just recently posted a video talking about all that, so we're not going to rehash it here. Basically, we all had life drama and we had to take a break. But you can check out that video for a full explanation. So it's actually been about 2 months since I've read this book. And Hef, you read it quite a while ago.
I did, and it was during the peak of my drama, so I'm a little fuzzy.
Daniel's the only one who has this fresh in his head, and I've also been in Super Star Wars mode recently, so that doesn't help either. But we're gonna do this.
I believe in us.
All right. Whose pick was this? This was Hef's pick, and why?
Well, because we'd already gotten through, the first two. And the mentality after having read not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 Dark Tower novels. Okay, fine, not in a novella. And a short story. You know what?
And a children's book.
My point is, stopping after 2, not getting to 3 seemed so just inconceivable.
Yeah, if we were going to stop, we'd just stop at The Hobbit.
Yeah.
So...
No, we'd read halfway through 2 towers and stop.
We'd get to one of the towers.
That's what Ralph Bakshi did.
It's like a choose your own adventure. It's just like, okay, you have one book, you have 2 paths. Do you choose Aragorn or do you choose Frodo?
Do you
only get to pick one.
Do you go to the Mines of Moria or do you go to the Gap of Rohan?
I always go to the Gap.
Yeah, well, you're a pervert.
But fashionably dressed.
I assumed you meant Gap Kids.
Oh!
Sorry,
that's my favorite book, Solita.
No, that's also related to another pre-show we had, but I don't think that'll be out yet. Okay, so Hef, what is your history with The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King?
The film, I watched it and enjoyed it when I was a little bit older. Didn't really like it when I was younger because I didn't have the attention span. But
it's a long movie.
It is a long movie.
Very long movie.
And
especially the
extended cuts.
Yeah.
I've never watched those. I have never watched any of those.
We watched them during our Lord of the Rings weekend in high school.
Okay.
He just didn't know they were...
Actually, we only did Return of the King for that one.
Oh, okay.
The other 2 were theatrical.
Okay.
So we had to borrow Return of the King from Colin. Because
that's right. We had to somebody had to run to his house to get it.
Yeah.
Physically run.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Mm-hmm. I do recommend the extended editions. I can't even I haven't watched the theatrical edition since I was probably 20.
But anyway,
Sorry.
No, you're good. I don't know, remember the movie. Then as far as the history with the book, I mean, the only thing I knew about it was before going in. And this was even before you mentioned anything to me about it, was how of the 3 total novels, this one was the one that's the most different from the movie that
Yeah, this one has the most differences.
Yeah, and so I knew a little bit of that going in, but what I didn't know was exactly how much.
Yeah.
I would say half of that book.
I don't think it's quite 50%, but it's a large chunk.
It's enough.
I'd say almost the entirety of the ending.
It's a
lot.
It's a decent enough chunk that it feels like it's a while.
Yeah, it definitely. If you're a person who grew up on the movies and you're reading the book for the first time, Return of the King is definitely going to feel like you're getting DLC. You're getting more bang for your buck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and not DLC you have to pay extra for. It's just, you already paid for it, and it automatically, it's part of an update, and you get it when it comes out.
It's
good DLC.
Yeah.
Bethesda already took $60 from me in the last 2 weeks, so...
What?
Sorry.
For what?
I'm gonna guess the Oblivion remaster and the Horse Armor DLC.
Oh, I didn't pay for the DLC.
Okay.
I just got the whatever the deluxe thing was. Guys, it's real good.
I believe.
I'm going to...
I just have too much on my what do you call it, backlog as it is.
Yeah.
And now I don't work, so.
When we are not dealing with things that cost money, I am going to and since I've decided I'm not getting a PS5, I'm done. There's no consideration. I'm not getting it. I am going to either buy or build a better gaming PC.
I have a PC. Yeah, mine Oblivion's on PC.
I also, once I'm working again, plan to get a gaming PC.
It has full PS4 controller support. Makes it very much easier to get into.
Yeah. I'm okay with mouse and keyboard, but I definitely prefer a controller.
If in a game like that, I prefer a controller. Anyway.
Okay. All right. My history with Return of the King is the same. I grew up on the movie, but this is my third time reading the book. The first time I read it I was probably like 32, 33, and also a big fan of the Rankin and Bass animated Return of the King film, which leaves out so much more than the Peter Jackson movie does, but is still super great, and I love it. Daniel.
Is that the one where they sing, "If there's a whip, there's a way"?
Yeah.
I love that song.
It's really great. I always Berenstein bears myself into believing that song is in the book, and it's not. And even this time, my third time reading, I'm like, when are they going to get to the whip song?
Well, there's a
whip. There's a way.
Every time I have a date and she tells me to put on music, that's the song I choose. I saw the Peter Jackson movie and now I read the book.
Yay!
I did. Not a whole lot to it. I think I've seen the Peter Jackson movie once. I was going to watch it again in preparation for this, and then I ended up not doing it for this one. I did it for the other ones.
Yeah. Always watch it after.
Yeah.
The vampire's a pure myth, superstition. I may be able to bring you proof that the superstition of yesterday can become the scientific reality of today.
All right, so let's jump into background. This is the third and final volume of j.r.r. Tolkien's epic high fantasy novel, The Lord of the Rings. It was released on October 20th, 1955. It was Tolkien's final novel that was released during his lifetime. His next published work was The Adventures of Tom Bombadil, which is a poetry collection that was released in 1962. It has 16 poems, 2 of which feature Tom Bombadil and, yes, his wife, Goldberry, River's daughter. So if you're, I
have dreams about that.
If you're super thirsty for Goldberry, you can read The Adventures of Tom Bombadil, but I would probably just recommend rereading The Fellowship. But in 1957, The Lord of the Rings received the International Fantasy Award. In 2003, there was a survey by the BBC in Great Britain, and The Lord of the Rings was found to be the nation's best-loved book. In 2004, there were similar polls in Germany and Australia, and The Lord of the Rings was chosen to be those countries' favorite book as well. In 1999, Amazon gave a poll to its customers, and The Lord of the Rings was chosen to be the book of the millennium. In 2019, BBC listed The Lord of the Rings as the one in its 100 most inspiring novels, and you could, if you just wanted to list accolades, you could go on and on and on. And if you're an uber nerd and you really enjoy this and you want to read some of the other drafts, because yes, there are multiple drafts of The Lord of the Rings, you can read Christopher Tolkien's nonfiction saga, The History of Middle-earth, in volumes 6 through 9, entitled The Return of the Shadow, The Treason of Isengard, The War of the Ring, and Sauron Defeated, all contain early drafts of The Return of the King. And there is two adaptations of this one specifically, one by Rankin and Bass, who previously did The Hobbit, and then another by some guy named Peter Jackson. He's a wingnut.
Yeah, he did some stuff.
And that's that. Another story in the classic, infallible 3-act structure. Good enough for Aristotle, good enough for The Simpsons.
Mr. Sislak, I have a feeling there's going to be one more act to this story.
Well, I'm not hanging around for that. 4 acts.
All right, so let's jump into structure and themes. And let's just get some updated thoughts on the structure of this book. Anything different or continuing thoughts from the previous 2 books? Or
this one was wildly different to me. The reference you made earlier, where like the book that never ends. This one, and I think it's because like I had such a set thing in my mind of the movies being like very set in its lead up to,
final countdown.
Yeah, the finality of everything. Like the movie doesn't very much of a thing, whereas the book does not do that. There is like you get to the end of the endeavor against Sauron, and then there's just more after that, and characters that I all but completely forgot about having their own little side quest, as it were, in the Shire of being just like, well, these hobbits are the reason that we got fucked over here, so let's just do this while we're here, including fucking Wormtongue.
So
what the hell?
Let me pause you real quick.
Yeah.
Talking to both of you, is there anything you want to discuss structure-wise other than the scouring of the Shire? Or are we just going to talk about that right now?
I mean, story-wise, it follows a linear path.
There's a ring.
There's a ring.
They threw it away.
Yeah.
They follow one set of characters and then another set of characters.
It was,
There's a war. Some people died.
I would say in terms of a chronology, yes, this in fact followed everything else.
Okay. All right. So you were talking about Wormtongue. Oh, go ahead.
I do think that just to build on his point, there were like 3 or 4 points in this book that would have been the ending to any other book. Like, you got the giant battle, you got the casting off of the ring, and there was a couple other points where I was just thinking, I'm like, almost any other author probably would have just ended it there.
The wedding.
Or this would have been the climax.
Mm.
Yeah, the wedding. Mm. So it felt like the book did have like 3 or 4 endings.
Mm. I agree.
I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing.
Yeah.
Just
it
is a thing.
It wowed me that because the first half of that volume is leading up to the final battle, at Black Gates.
Yep.
And it just stops there, and I was like, oh, okay, so we're used to this, because it's 2 perspectives kind of thing. So I'm like, okay, so here we go to Sam and Frodo's part. And then you get through Sam and Frodo's part, I would say, relatively quickly.
Yeah, it's probably less than half of book 6.
Yeah, and I'm like...
The ring is destroyed.
Yeah, I'm thinking, all right, thinking in my head, I was like, okay, here's my differences that I got out, versus this. And then I looked at the book, or the number of hours left in the audiobook, and I'm like, how?
Part of that is also the appendices.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to.
Yeah. I was so taken aback by the fact that, my knowledge of Lord of the Rings up to that point, I thought had been okay, I have a pretty good idea of what's going on, and then there's just so much left that I'm didn't get elaborated on in the movie versions, and I'm like, I don't really know how to handle this information. But anyway, with the whole they're the Shire thing, Wormtongue, and then that's a whole thing, and then because the wedding of Arwen and Aragorn also is thrown in there, which we got a bit of that in the movie. But,
yeah, there's a scene. Oh,
but
here's a fun Lord of the Rings movie tidbit. So, Liv Tyler's last day of shooting was the wedding scene, and her last shot was her kiss with Aragorn, and their shooting schedule was so strict and so stressed. And Viggo Mortensen had so much to do that Peter Jackson decided that she was going to kiss a stunt guy while Viggo shot another scene. And apparently, she threw one hell of a fit. In my opinion, rightfully so.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And he changed it, and they bent it backwards, and they got Viggo there so that they could do the kiss together.
It's
How crazy is that?
I don't want to kiss a stuntman. I don't want to kiss a poor.
Don't think that was quite her reasoning.
That's what I'm going to pretend it is. That's my headcanon.
Sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted.
No, you're good. Oh, God, I have no idea where I left off.
I'm going to call my dad! I would not want to piss off Steven Tyler. He'd probably bite your head off.
He's like, you're going to kiss a stuntman. Her only words to him are, dream on.
Dream on! Dream on!
Yeah, but this book was kind of wild in how actual little I knew about the amount of information I was going to get that was extra that I didn't know.
Yep.
And that's it made it very interesting to read because it was in a sense like DLC where you're just getting kind of so much more than what you think. It is, as you know, I have this very contentious thing about like adding things to something I already have as a set like linear path for myself, which fucks me a lot.
This wasn't added. Peter Jackson subtracted it.
I mean,
but you saw the movies first.
True. That's not even really my problem with it, and I shouldn't even say it's a problem. It was. I have a real hard time with, I feel like this is where something needs to stop, and then it just keeps going. Mm-hmm. I've had that problem with quite a few Stephen King books.
Yeah.
This had kind of the same thing where I'm just like, this is cool, but why is it still going?
Because there's more story to tell.
They should have stopped at the sewer scene.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe not.
Now, I will say, like, I enjoyed that stint that we had in the Shire because it was extra time with the boys, which I love. Also, Saruman.
I'm sorry, who?
Saruman?
No, that's not his name. Sharky.
Oh God, I forgot about that. Oh, that's such.
So stupid.
It's.
Why is his name Sharky? I don't know. Hobbits think sharks are scary.
Do you know? Like, is there a reason for that?
I don't think so. Not that I know of.
Okay, all right.
That's like too good.
That wasn't me. Also, just being like.
No, I think it's stupid too.
Okay.
Grok, is this true?
Why Saruman jails a Gandalf? I mean, when compared to Ian McKellen, yeah, it's Christopher Lee too. To be fair.
The name Sharky is derived from the Orcish word Sharku, which means old man.
Oh my God.
It's derived from the made-up word. I mean, he was bad. He named so many characters. He was bound to have one bad one.
He was just really.
I don't know. Shark. I'll come up with a reason for it to make sense later.
The book felt like it was like just, he wanted to write so much more, and he wanted to do so much, clearly he did. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously, we have entire departments of people that are just focused on Tolkien lore. Like, that's a thing. I get it. But this book, I think more than the other two, really kind of shows how much more world building he wanted to do. And just had a real hard time parting himself from it. And that's kind of the vibe I got on this book, is there's just a lot of world building he still wanted to do. Like, he felt like he wasn't finished. And, again, to be fair, he wasn't. But it took me out of it a little bit. But it still came to a completion, a point where I just, like, the ending makes sense, and I did like how it does do a little bit better of a job explaining, because the movies do not do a very good job of explaining why Frodo goes to it's not the far plane. What is it called?
The far plane. He's Yuna's gonna dance for him.
What's it called?
Hobbits die and Yuna dances.
Shit. The Grey Havens? Is that what it's called?
The Grey Havens is the port in Middle-earth that they take to go to Valinor.
I wish we did this on camera so we could get Ryan.
The Undying Lands.
The Undying Lands, okay. I'm sorry.
The Golden Shores.
The book did a better job of explaining it, because that was always something like I never really understood in the movies, because I didn't know.
My shoulder hurts.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, it won't stop hurting.
Yeah, I didn't realize that like the blade was something more ethereal than just being a blade. Like, it was actually something that like went into his soul. In addition to, like, I understood like the whole like
the spiritual injury.
The ring wore him down. Like that I understood that. But like they kept putting towards like the knife wound or whatever like that, and I'm like, I understand y'all don't have Bactine or anything back in, but I mean, you know, I feel like this would have been taken care of by now. I didn't realize that was... They do a better job of, in the book, being like, this is why, and it makes way more sense.
Yeah.
Like, I like the book in that essence because the more world building you get, the more stuff does make sense, as much as a magical book can be.
Yeah.
But in the movies, they don't really explain that. They just kind of be like...
I think I want to take a boat trip.
Frodo's just like, I'm really tired. I'm gonna go
Sam
die.
is super clingy.
Yeah.
Listen, Sam, you're my gardener, and I don't need this.
Sam, we were on the road a long time, and I got desperate, and I slept with you once. But it's not happening again. I'm sorry.
Gollum sat in his little cuck chair.
all Sam can do, just as Frodo just leaves me, just like, more lembas bread.
This elvish stuff ain't bad. I don't much go for foreign food. Daniel, what did you think of the Scouring of the Shire?
I really enjoyed the Scouring of the Shire. Mostly just... Again, I don't know everything that Tolkien was going for, but like sometimes you pull things from books. And it gave you that sense of... just because the war ended, it didn't mean the war ended. You know, like soldiers going home and things have changed all around them. So sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. And
it's probably something that he personally went through.
And then you have to realize that there's big battles and small battles, and then you also just got petty dudes there for revenge. And that was kind of the vibe that I got, was just because, you know, you think that the big thing is finished doesn't mean that there's not other little things going on. Yep. It also made the world feel a little bit more alive because it was just like such a small thing in comparison to, you know, Sauron and the Ring and basically avatars of gods battling it out. But at the same time, you know, shit's still gonna happen.
Yep. Somebody's still gonna cut down the party tree.
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers.
It's not the party tree.
It's a big ass tree.
It is a big ass tree. There's fucking Bombadil when you need him.
No,
this is a really
Banging Goldberry. I'm getting a playmat of that. I'm doing it.
That sounds amazing.
I want it.
Yeah, but that's sort of the vibe that I got from that entire like sequence.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. What about the appendices? Well, first, did you guys read the appendices?
No.
Unfortunately.
I didn't.
Well, I listened to the appendices, which I felt like maybe I should have read it instead of.
So I did. I did the Dick thing where like I was like, okay, and it goes appendices or anything. Then it starts, and for the first few minutes, I'm like, okay, so it's extra thing. And then I looked at the phone and I saw how much left was in it, and I'm like, no. And I like hit the little skip 30 seconds button, and it just kept going and going and going. And I'm like, I can't do this.
I listened to it, but my eyes glazed over the whole time. That was a lot harder to enjoy in audio form.
So the entire appendices is not included in the audiobook. The sections on language, calendars, like the only parts that are included in the audiobook are the more parsable portions of it.
And even I had a hard time with that. So
you probably would like it more reading it straight from a book.
Yeah,
I can see it being like something like if you have that book and you're like using it as like a table of contents, I guess. Like you can actually use it to go find other sources.
I mean, it is a reference material essentially.
See, I think that's cool. Have it being talked to you though, like I'm just like
the next book I'm reading on my own outside of the podcast has like a 200-page appendices in it. So I'm
hard.
It's one I was gonna do it's House of Leaves, what I wanted to do for the podcast, but looking at it where there's like entire chapters of just like one-word pages. I'm like, that will not transfer to audiobooks. There's no way.
Yeah. No, that's fire. That's fire.
So
we'll skip that. All right. So we've kind of talked about the themes as we've gone on. Were there any like themes in this book that you thought were unique compared to the other two, or did you think were there any like what were the themes you thought that carried through through all three and maybe did or did not.
I wasn't expecting Tolkien to talk about gender roles. So
yeah,
like of all the things that I was like for sure this was added in for modern audiences or modern days.
I was gonna ask you, did you think the "I am no man"? Did you think that was added in the movie?
I wasn't gonna bring it up. I thought for sure that was added. Like if I picture something, I'm like, okay, that's a modern day producer going, we have to give the girls a win for. Because one of the big criticisms, and I think it's a stupid criticism, but one of the criticisms I always hear about The Hobbit is there's no female characters. And you watch The Hobbit and they add like female characters and have them do stuff. And to me it feels very obvious even when I didn't read the book. Mm-hmm. That still felt added in, so I was actually kind of surprised that, oh no, that's in there. So I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I was the same. I also was under the impression that was something that they just brought to modern day. I didn't think I was actually going to hear that in the book.
I would say that his female characters are low in quantity but high in quality. Specifically Eowyn and Galadriel, and Arwen is not given a whole lot of ink, but like if you pull out her story and just tell her whole story separate as a piece, like she has a pretty incredible story.
Galadriel is actually one of my favorite characters in the books.
And
she's only in the first one, and
she's in Return of the King.
Barely the third one. Mm-hmm. But I loved her. Like
she's talked about a lot though. Mm-hmm. So you get like lore dumps about her, or maybe not lore dumps, but like lore implications about her.
Yeah, she feels like one thing I really like about her specifically, in the way that Tolkien describes her, is she really does feel like an ethereal being. Like she is kind of above the world while still also a part of it, which is something that the movies don't. Again, film versus immersion in a book. Mm-hmm. Like in the books you just have such more depth to see, like actually picturing this being that's kind of beyond physicality.
It's a lot like trying to write a Lovecraft monster and then putting it into a movie.
Yeah.
So she's an elf, which, you know, that in and of itself, all of the elves have like a little bit of an ethereal sense about them. But aside from that, she's a very old elf. She's older. She was born before the first age of Middle Earth. So she's one of the people who are alive in Middle Earth at the time of the War of the Ring. She is one of the oldest. I think like Sauron is one, maybe, and Círdan are maybe like the three oldest. But she's also, there are a bunch of different like houses of elves, and she's of the highest, most noble house.
Yeah, we're the golden elves, not like you dark elves.
Light elves. Yeah.
I like her a lot. Galadriel's probably, like, she's up there as like one of my favorite characters, just for existing rather than her character depth.
Yeah, no, she's really cool.
Just the way she's described is one of my favorite parts of the whole series as a rule. Is I love anything involving Galadriel.
I love anytime someone Sims 4 because I relate to that.
I love that.
I love Éomer and Gimli comparing, or sounds bad. I guess they are comparing Arwen and Galadriel at the wedding.
Being like, hey, listen, bro, this is my waifu. Your waifu is shit tier.
No, he says your waifu would be my waifu if it weren't for my waifu. That is what Éomer says.
Have I shown you the hair she gave me?
She gave me 3.
He's over there just like just stroking it.
Okay.
He melts it in.
I'm never gonna get over that.
It's so good. It's the extra treat of the novels I never asked for but always wanted. Yeah.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Let's go to characters and let's talk about Frodo and Sam.
Not enough fucking.
I ain't fucking around, son.
Again, I didn't watch the third one for this one, but like even compared to the other, not nearly as much animosity.
None.
Yeah.
No.
So,
none. Just love.
Like I don't
love and respect.
I really don't want you to carry this ring. I don't think it'd be healthy for you, Sam.
Yeah.
As opposed to this is now mine.
I think this is Sam's book. Like Sam, like this.
Sam fucks.
Yeah.
Sam does fuck.
He fucks hard. I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you. It never gets old for me.
I was pleased to see the stuff that I really enjoyed did pull over into, like, not into it, but pulled from that. Like, because those are such peak moments.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even, like, you know, Eowyn doing that was a peak moment. I'm glad to see that was the original material came from.
Sam,
and
I'm naked in the dark.
Yeah.
I don't remember the taste of strawberries. Sorry.
You're welcome.
No, but yeah, no, Sam absolutely shines. Like, and I love the build up to it because you have like the first couple volumes with him being just kind of not whiny, but like
he's almost bumbling.
I was gonna say bumbly. Yeah,
almost. Yeah, like
he's not. I don't think Tolkien like had a concept of like a comic relief at the time. But he's probably as close as you get to one.
In the Ralph Bakshi animated Lord of the Rings movie, he is 100% the bumbling comic relief, and I hate it. Yeah,
I don't like it as an adaptation, but I love those clips of him.
Yeah,
because they're so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Mr.
Frodo.
And the way they
Mr. Frodo.
The way they draw him, dude. Like, I don't believe that guy's gonna fuck.
He's fat, ugly hobbit. Yeah.
That guy ain't gonna fuck at the end.
No. And in the Peter Jackson movies, everybody's beautiful. Even like.
Hiya! Happy Easter!
Wormtongue. If you like get a haircut, take a shower, like you wouldn't be a bad looking guy. Just
so like the average dude complaining about no bitches.
Yeah.
Severus Snape about no
like,
bitches.
I'm like, just stop orbiting the one girl and get a haircut, dude. You'll be fine.
You have haunted my footsteps for too long. I'm starting to get back in it.
I'm gonna put that quote on my Tinder.
Okay. What about Frodo? Because I know Frodo. I guess this both of your guys' first reads. We're probably gonna do a lot of comparing to the movie. So, Frodo can be kind of contentious, especially in the latter parts of the Two Towers and Return of the King. A lot of people call him kind of a whiny character. What are your thoughts on Frodo after reading the book?
I actually kind of like him better in the book than I do the movie.
I do like him.
I like all. Basically all the characters.
The books fix a lot of the problems that I have with the later Frodo-Sam interactions because I hate the I understand characters can fight because that's just it's a nature. It's a nature of being an individual. Is you're not going to agree with everybody.
Yeah,
but in the movies, there's just such contention to the point where, I mean,
they break up.
I hate that. I think that's the
worst.
It's so bad. Like I hate it as a rule, and I don't know. Like it basically, I like Frodo less in the films than I do in this book because I understand the influence of the ring, and that's what they're trying to impose upon you. Is he's not like this normally? It's the ring doing it.
At the same time, though,
but Sam's just over here doing his best, trying to make all this work and trying to do this. And even in the movies, Sam is not the contentious individual. It's always Frodo that's like kind of starting shit. And
they get manipulated by Gollum.
They do. And again, I'm saying this as a person who understands that influence of the ring plus Gollum can't make that easy.
Yeah.
But the books make it so that I don't have this problem because there's difficulty, but the difficulty isn't each other, it's the quest.
Their relationship is stronger than...
My issue is at the end of the movies, again, I didn't read it, so I'm going off of memory. At the very end, they tried to have it feel the same as the end of this movie, where it's like, oh, we've been best friends forever, and Frodo's the one I'm always thinking of. And I'm sitting there going, I'm like, if I was Sam in this movie universe, like, I understand like the ring and Gollum and shit, but I'd just be like, no, I don't want to be your fucking friend. Like, I'm glad that like we saved the world and junk, but like you believed the scary little monster that literally tried to kill us on our first meeting. Like, it's like it's like going back to a friendship with a drug addict after he's stolen a bunch of money from you.
It's toxic.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm glad you're clean. I wish you well, but I ain't gonna wistfully think of you anymore. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's the feeling.
You
I
stole all my PS2 games and sell them for crack cocaine.
Yeah, like it does something to you.
Yeah.
So.
That copy of Haunting Ground was worth $800. You fuck.
My younger brother literally did sell it for drug money.
Oh god.
My entire horror game collection, which upwards of $4,000.
No.
Yeah.
You had Rule Rose too, didn't you?
I did not have. That was the one I didn't have.
Oh, that was one you didn't have.
That I was saving up for because I didn't have to buy any of the other ones. But now it's like, well, why even bother? Because now they just keep shooting up in price.
Just pirate them all, and that'll be what you stream.
Yeah, well, that is what I plan to stream. But it's like I liked having the collection. I liked horror games. I like horror. I'm like, and I had a bunch. I got Haunting Ground for like $40.
That's insane.
Yeah, I got it from the game store that Ryan used to work at.
Yep.
Yeah.
The hell was that called?
I can't remember.
The Game Exchange.
That feels
That
like
still
an
exists?
entire. That feels like a different save file to me.
No, they went out of business less than a year after he fired me.
That's funny.
So what you're saying is, after they lost you, they lost everything.
No, but he was just an idiot.
So what you're saying is... No, Frodo and Sam strict upgrade in book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gone!
I just felt sad.
He's very pitiable.
You definitely do pity him. He's a bad man.
Mm-hmm.
And he does terrible things, but he's also a victim.
Yeah. The Frodo, Sam, Gollum stuff in the books is, to me, so much better than the film versions.
Yep.
Those are the quest portions that I wanted Frodo and Sam to be in live action.
Mm-hmm.
It felt more wholesome. It felt better as far as an end result. Like, I was satisfied when they got to Mount Doom and they're just like doing their thing, because like everything that's happening up there, again, because of all the contention and stuff that's going on in the films, like there's a portion of me that it just doesn't feel genuine because of all the shit that basically Sam has had to put up with the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in this, when that scene happens, you do feel for Sam and him wanting to help and wanting to, stop Frodo from falling into the influence, because that's the final point. That's when Frodo has lost. Whereas in the movies, he's been lost for a while, and you just kind of feel like, oh, well, fucking now you're going to be that guy. But the books give me that fulfillment, and Gollum is also a part of that fulfillment, because he's much more pitiable. He's much a more complete character to me in the novels than he is in the movies. No shade to
Andy Serkis
at all, of course, no.
I mean, you can you have like a minimum of 9 hours of movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to say you should have developed that character more.
I agree. I'm not saying that like it's not a thing. It's just
the book is better
in these stories specifically. Like in the Frodo Sam quest, the books are superior in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, I feel sorry for him all the time.
The poor black squirrel.
Yeah.
Hopped all the way down here from... Okay, all right.
He almost fell into a trap.
Was he trying to get me to say a slur?
No.
Oh, okay.
Aragorn, King Elisar.
He's still handsome.
Strider.
The ghost thing was really cool.
We can talk about the Men of Dunharrow here too.
Yeah. I thought that. I mean, that was in the Return of the King. That's up there is in the films. That's one of my favorite I'm gonna say jaunts that they go on quest wise, because to me the rest of the Return of the King is a kind of a contentious movie because I feel like a lot of it just kind of doesn't fit with itself. The book also kind of has that feeling, but at the same time, again, I go with the mentality of well, it's a book, it's an expanded universe, that's fine. So I'm a little bit easier coping with it. And this one, it was kind of cool because you could again, world building is very good, and Tolkien does a very good job of making you feel like the cave is just dour, ancient, cruel, almost a character of itself, but Aragorn being the pure light that's going into the darkness, and he does a real good job of selling that.
Have I mentioned I am the king?
What did you guys think of the change of the Men of Dunharrow from the book to the film?
I mean, I was for it. I didn't. They were less dicks, I guess.
No, I mean not. I mean like the big, like one of the biggest changes from book to movie.
Oh God, remind me.
So, in the movie,
this part I'm fuzzy on.
In the movie, the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, the big battle in front of Minas Tirith.
Right.
The free peoples of Middle Earth win that because at the last minute, Aragorn shows up.
Brings up with a ghost. Yeah,
and they sweep the field clean.
Right.
The Men of Dunharrow never show up at the battle.
That's right. They don't. He
takes them against the Corsairs of Unbar, and then he frees them after that.
Okay.
I really feel like he should have kept them for at least up until like the ring was dropped.
Gimli says, "These lads will be useful. You should keep them around."
Like, I mean, you can like say, "Hey, I need you for 3 battles."
Three battles,
like the genie, and then you get to be free. All right, 2 battles.
Something I didn't really understand the first time I read The Return of the King is, okay, so one difference is like before they go off to Gondor, Eldam and Elrohir, Elrond's twin sons, show up with the rest of the Grey Company, which is like 30 rangers of Aragorn's kin. And so when I was reading it the first time, they go and they get the ghosts, and then they go and they fight the Corsairs of Umbar and take their ships. And he lets them go. Like, you fought your battle, you fulfilled your oath, the Oathbreakers, you guys are gone. So then they board the ships and they go to Minas Tirith. And just like in the movie, they show up at the last minute and they storm the field and they win. And there was a disconnect for me because I was like, wait, so what turns the tide of the battle is Aragorn, Gimli, Legolas, Eldam, Elrohir, and 30 rangers. Like the 10,000 orcs are just like, fuck no! What I didn't pick up on the first time I read that is a detail I missed is that in Gondor, there's all like these southern fiefdoms along the shore, and the book says that these fiefdoms don't send soldiers to Minas Tirith because of the Corsairs. They're stuck fighting these Corsairs, the guys on the ships. And when Aragorn uses the Oathbreakers to defeat the Corsairs, then he's able to rally all those reinforcements and takes all of these dudes to Minas Tirith.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that.
There's a lot of detail.
I mean,
I still think he should have kept them up until they got rid of the ring. I just feel like that would have been useful at the Battle of...
I feel like it's a simpler explanation.
Yeah.
And that's why Peter Jackson made that change. Yes, they would have been useful at the Battle of the Black Gate.
Yeah, like, I'm just sitting there going like, buddy, like, the fate of the world's at stake. Just keep them for, like, one more.
Ghosts are ghosts, and they're just like, I mean...
I feel like I didn't get a good enough explanation of, like, why he had to free them right after.
Because they fulfilled their oath.
Okay, but, like... Can you take one more?
No,
like,
they fulfilled their oath. They were free.
Take one more for
the alliance is literally called the Free Peoples of Middle Earth. I mean, Aragorn's supposed to be the leader of the Men of the West. He can't keep people in bondage for no reason.
The reason is to stop Sauron.
We're going with the argument of like, but what if Aladdin didn't wish the genie free?
Yeah, just have Jasmine rob the lamp next.
Yeah.
Then that's at least 2 more wishes.
Yeah. But then they would have been like, well, what if we have Jasmine wish for all these things, but then we have Abu rub the lamp.
He wishes for 3
what they're actually not telling us is that that's a story that they wanted us to think. What actually happened was that it's actually been passed through the Aladdin bloodline, and each heir gets 2 wishes.
Have you guys watched Historically Accurate Aladdin?
No.
We're going to watch that after we're done recording this episode.
Okay. Alright, so, and then I want to talk about Arwen. There's also a huge difference with Arwen from the book to the film. I don't know if that was something that you guys really...
Not that I recall.
The fact that she talked at all.
Well, in the movie, like, Peter Jackson kind of simplifies it. He's like, she's an immortal elf. He's a mortal man. If she chooses to marry him and stay in Middle Earth, then eventually he'll die and she'll be super lonely. But how it actually works in the book is Arwen's family, Elrond's family, they have the choice to be mortal or not mortal.
Okay.
Because of the things that their ancestors did in the Silmarillion, and I won't explain all of that.
Sure. Not now.
But Elrond chose to be an elf. His brother chose to be a mortal, and he became the first king of Numenor. And Elrond's children get to, when they grow up, they get the same choice. And Arwen chooses to become a mortal woman, and she dies after Aragorn does. And to include that in the movie, they kind of would have had to explain, like, wait, they get to choose? But yeah.
It's her elf blood, her choice.
Yeah.
There.
Wow. All right.
I have no opinion on any of that except that makes sense.
Got a fit sitter over here.
I don't.
Basically, Elrond's dad saved the fucking world, and so
that's what I was supposed to take from I can choose to be mortal or immortal.
So the Valinor, or the Valar from Valinor, gave him you and all your descendants can choose first children of Iru-Ilúvatar, second children, elves or men. And he was originally a man, and his wife was originally an elf, and his wife wanted to stay an elf, so he said, all right, baby, even though I want to be a man, I'll be an elf. So they chose to be elves. And then his
chose to be elves.
Yeah.
I knew it would only take like a minimal level of prodding to get the explanation.
Well, that's a real short, brief explanation.
My opinion remains the same.
I really wish I could record you guys' faces from this, because you guys are very good at facial expression.
Elrond's like, all right, immortal chosen of Iru-Ilúvatar. And Elros is like, oh man, the mortal men. Death is a gift.
Okay, so now I'm just picturing these elves having a conversation much similar to what I imagined the notorious B.I.G. and Will Smith would. Yo, man, you won't be elf? That's cool.
That's cool.
I gotta go make a rap video. It's just like,
I'm being elf.
I'm being elf.
I'll sell more albums if I die young.
But I can sell more if I live forever. Top charts forever, platinum, baby.
It's notorious. That's the word, right? With the B.I.G. guy?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. He's notorious.
He is.
Wiki wiki wow wow west.
Where the fuck are we? Where am I? Arwen.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, after that explanation, I mean, I'm pleased to say that I have almost the same exact opinion of it that I did.
Okay, so are you team Gimli with the Galadriel Simps, or are you team Éomer with the Arwen Simps?
Yeah, no. We're firmly in the Gimli seat.
I like Galadriel as a character more than Arwen, but Arwen represents the night and Galadriel represents the day. And I'm all about that darkness, yo. She's the evening star!
He likes dark meat.
I feel like, I don't know, like Galadriel represents the prom queen and Arwen represents the girl next door. Now, granted, you probably end up with the girl next door, but you still be hella thinking about the prom queen.
I do like
in middle school, yeah, but not so much in high
because
school.
Tifa's the girl next door.
Yeah, Tifa's... Screw Aerith.
What's your point?
In this scenario,
and
Galadriel would be Aerith.
And how long was
Screw Aerith?
And how long was Cloud hung up on Aerith, though? Come on.
I mean, he fucked
all through disc one,
and all of his friends watched.
Yeah, out of desperation because they knew they were going to go fight Sephiroth the next day.
Is Barrett left-handed or right-handed?
I think it depends on the polygon.
Well, I guess I don't know what hand he used before. He's left-handed now.
Is his gun his right arm? Yeah. That's gonna be so frustrating. I know, like Legolas and Gimli are are like
bros.
They're bros. I mean, I feel like they're kind of comic relief with Legolas being the straight man and Gimli being the
simp.
That was also we talked last episode, I think, about how like the counting contest was actually from the book, and I was so happy about that.
Yeah,
that was another thing I was sure was like
they made that up. Yeah.
But also like they're really important. They represent like a union between dwarves and elves. And I don't know how much
we can simp over the same girls.
Legolas, he's like a eunuch.
He's a tree.
Yeah, he likes trees. He loves
trees.
I mean, and
he
since all the
up as an ant wife.
Since all the ant wives are dead, Legolas will never make love.
I believe that.
That's why his name is Greenleaf.
You don't.
He used to be Blue Leaf.
You don't look like Orlando Bloom and expect to be with like plentiful women. It's just like, no, you can't touch him. He's too pure.
He's too pure.
It's too pure. He can't be sullied.
He's so pure he can walk on the snow. Speaking of white, my guy, the commander-in-chief of the Free Peoples of Middle-earth.
So funny, but where the microphone was, I didn't see Gandalf. All I saw was Pippin, and I saw you. Speaking of white, and I'm like, man, Pippin's pretty.
Pippin's a white boy.
He is the white boy.
Well, let's talk about Gandalf first.
Yeah, sure.
And I say that from here on until the ring is destroyed, Mithrandir has command of us all, and everybody's like, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, like we probably should listen to this guy
earlier, like years ago.
Yeah. Like when he first brought this up.
What did you guys think of Gandalf?
I mean, I like Gandalf. I wouldn't say he's my favorite character from this book. I gravitate more towards like the Sams and the Gimlis.
I think he's one of my favorite characters in the Lord of the Rings overall, but I think Fellowship is the better like Gandalf book.
I like his lore. I like how he talks to Saruman.
You a bitch!
He's like, you're broke, you're homeless, you got no bitches. You know.
I picture like Gandalf talking to Saruman the way that like FDR talks to the Axis people.
Well. Look who's down a Hitler. And a Mussolini by the time that was all. Did Hirohito was he the only one to survive all that?
Yeah, Hirohito survived the war.
Okay. Yeah, wow.
And he died in like the 80s or something. He lived a long time.
Yeah. He was trying to bide his time.
When did Emperor Hirohito die?
Holy
1989.
January 7th.
The Delano.
Well, after World War II, there was like a whole big thing. It was like, was Hirohito like actually like the force behind all this Japanese expansionism, or was he like being a puppet of the military and they were actually responsible? And it's like,
I feel like you gotta take a little responsibility.
Well, he didn't.
Yeah,
he didn't. He stayed in power I think he did. He maybe did step down and give his son towards the end, but for like 40 something more years, he was the emperor. Yeah.
Neat. They don't have an emperor anymore, do they?
No, they still do.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Technically, they're a constitutional monarchy, I think.
Huh.
Well, I mean, it's like I think it's just like Great Britain, the United Kingdom, where they're really like a ceremonial figurehead.
Still, I don't know. It makes me a little nervous.
I know. I mean, like,
makes me feel like they're biding their time. They're using anime to make the rest of the world weak.
Part of me is like, how can a monarch still exist in this day and age? And then the other part of me is like, is democracy really that great?
Yeah. I've seen what happens when you give the common man a choice.
In the Patriot, Mel Gibson has this line where he's arguing against going to war with the British, and he says, "An elected assembly can trample a person's right. It's as easily as a king can." And I'm like, Mel. Okay, all right. Let's stop before we get too unpatriotic here. Get cast out.
or podcast.
Podcast out! Any more thoughts on Gandalf? Yeah, you haven't said anything.
Gandalf's fine. Gandalf's fine. I have no problems.
Fuck off.
That's fine.
I like it. I don't know if you call it like a full speech, but like his little interactions with everyone at the end of the book. You're like, yeah, a little boat trip. Maybe he'll come someday. And
my favorite Gandalf scenes in this book are like his interactions with Denethor, and like it's almost for a little bit it almost becomes like a political thriller with like the machinations. Like, don't say this in front of Denethor. You can say this, and like, what does Denethor know? What does Gandalf know? And Denethor is angry because Gandalf has influence over Faramir, and he's like, "Oh, my son is a wizard's pupil." Ah! So I enjoy that part. Yeah,
I remember none of that.
Again, like, there's a lot of value in rereading. These books.
Yeah.
Okay, Pippin. Peregrine Took!
I'm gonna be 100% honest here. I keep getting Merry and Pippin backwards, so I don't remember who did what.
Pippin is the one that went to Gondor.
They went to Gondor, okay. Yeah, and
Save Faramir.
The pyre and all that.
Okay.
That started. I because of the delay that I had reading this book, I forgot that they had already gotten past, like, him finding, like, getting a hold of the orb and them leaving to go to Gondor.
Mm-hmm.
So like when
the two towers.
Yeah, so when that started over in the book, and I'm just like, do we skip something? And then I remembered, oh no, wait, that was in the getting my timelines mixed up again. I mean, I think the hobbits specifically benefit from this book. You get a lot more character depth in them, and Pippin's a good example of this, because not just with the things at Gondor, and then, but also, you know, you've got the battle at the Shire, where we're getting even more of them, and Andy Serkis just does such a great job with, you know, making all of them
feel different.
Yeah, like he took the accents of all four of them, all four of the hobbits, and were able to kind of really mimic very well the way they sound. So like in the audiobook, like this helped me a lot, because I was able to determine like Pippin's and
without them even saying who's talking.
Right, and that was huge for me.
I think that this book is really where you get to see the payoffs for Sam, Pippin, and Merry.
You do, yes.
Yeah, they've been through so much shit in the past two books.
Yeah,
and this is where they really get tested.
Yeah, and in the films, like Pippin's role is prominent in that film, but like I wouldn't exactly call what he has in that film a payoff. I guess
he saves Faramir.
He does, but like to a lesser degree, I guess, than the rest of them. Where, like, you know, you got Merry actually like riding into battle, fighting like Éomer's side, or not Éomer, Éowyn's side, and I don't know, like I feel like he got just a little bit shorted in the book or in the movies.
Well, they actually give him more in the movies than he has in the book, because in the movies he has to climb and light the beacon.
He has to light the beacons.
Yeah, which does not happen.
Yeah, he didn't do that. Yeah, you're right.
They're actually, the beacons are lit, but they've already been lit as Gandalf and Pippin are riding to Minas Tirith. They see the beacons being lit.
Okay.
So it's actually a lot more dramatic.
Now all of China knows you're here.
I love that. I think of that.
I also thought that whenever I see that scene.
Good.
I have the same thought.
You just had Denethor. He's like, who are they holding the flag? Perfect.
It's good.
No,
it's good.
I think all the hobbits benefit from this book. Like, that is of the three books, Lord of the Rings, we've read, I am going to go ahead and say, like, this one is actually, it is my least favorite of the three volumes. But I think the hobbits get the best of it in this novel.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you have any thoughts on Pippin?
Not really.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, then let me get my dynamic podcast voice in. So, Ryan has gone to get a beverage. Daniel has gone to piss. You're just here with me. Me and you. You and me. I'm not going to sing. Nobody needs to hear that. Jordan, oh man, I'm just talking to myself here. I love it. It is a midway point. I do want to make it a point. I'm sure, like everybody, all the boys here feel the same. Like, it's been a tough couple months for all of us. Thank you so much, really, for sitting and still dealing with us, even now. Your all support is very, very well appreciated. And I think one of them's coming back. Hold on. All right. Penis joke. Insert. Oh. Penis joke.
I inserted a penis once.
Which way?
I could leave that part up to mystery.
I'll look to the appendices on that one.
It reached all the way to the appendices.
I bet it did. I haven't felt a nudge like that since my circumcision.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm starting to lose my voice. Need more liquid.
What the hell is that?
Athletic.
Cool.
Does it make me more athletic?
Yeah. I've just been like trying like every non-alcoholic beer I can find.
IPAs made non-alcoholic stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay. I'm gonna try this. We're gonna find out. This is what we call fucking around.
Usually IPAs are not. I know they're acquired taste.
They are, and I've been slowly gaining that taste, but it's not my preference.
I almost exclusively enjoy Guinness, so
yeah.
When it comes to beer, I'll drink an IPA, but only because that's what my dad likes and that's what he has when I'm with him. So
one of my friends introduced me to a Blue Moon at a restaurant with an orange in it, and
that's a draft Blue Moon is awesome.
It is really good.
When Dustin and I took my mom to the Football Hall of Fame, he and I stopped by this bar and they had like their own brewery, so they had like their own like I guess house beer. It was like a honey flavor. It wasn't bad. It was like honey and berries.
I tried like 3 different Cincinnati local beers.
Yeah, because like while you're there.
Yeah, I preferred it, and I hated them all, but I'm still glad I tried them.
The experience was.
One was a rosé beer. Yeah, so it had like a wine taste.
That's weird I like rosé wine.
Yeah, I mean, but that's wine. It's not beer.
Yeah.
So when I drink a beer, I'm looking for some like horse swill.
Yeah. You want to talk about horse swill? I went to a Renaissance fair.
A PBR?
No, mead.
Oh yeah, I'm not a big fan of mead. It's too sweet.
They give it to you in like with the tiniest solo cups I've ever seen. And he's like, "Here, try this." And I took a shot of it, and I just looked at the man. I was like, "I'm not a fan of this." And he said, "You need a taller one." I said, "Okay." So I took said beverage, and I'll tell you what, meat will fuck you up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Because this Renaissance fair, that was at the peak of the hill, is where you got that. You have to go to the bottom of the hill to get to the rest of it. That was a challenge for me.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, I was just like, I think it'd just be easier to roll down this hill. And also, it was kind of like, they were cheeky, too, because it was like you get to the bottom of the hill, just enough time to be like, oh, well,
I'm thirsty.
I'm thirsty. We're like that. And right on the corner, she's just like, the little girl in the pixie outfit, she's just like, you look like you need some mead. And I'm just like,
I think I need some mead.
I think I do, actually. I was so fucked up at that Renaissance fair. Right. I got challenged to a duel, and
a duel?
I did. I got challenged to a duel.
I want to go to a Renaissance fair.
There is one this summer in West Virginia, and I want to go to it.
They are fun.
Can we duel?
They are fun. Well, only if you piss off a knight.
I'm gonna piss off. I'll piss everyone off. Have you met me?
Only if you threaten your propane contract.
Well, they were doing like jousts or something like in the actual arena, and I was again very drunk at this point.
We should go dress as Hank and Dale.
Jackie sat me on a rock, and she said, "You don't need any more. I want you to just sit here and watch the bout." And I'm just like, okay, no problem. And then
so Erwin von Liechtenstein.
So yeah, basically. And I'm just like looking at like people, and there was a guy next to me, and
change your stars.
And he was enjoying the hell out of me, just yelling at people. And he looks over at me, and he's just, and again the wife is still gone. He looks at me, he's like, "You want some mead?" I was like, "Actually, yeah, I do," which just made me more obnoxious.
Have I ever told you the story of when my ex-wife was the most mad at me?
Did you not? Did you tell her she had to order her own food at McDonald's?
The second most mad at me. We were at my sister's wedding.
Yeah.
And I got a little intoxicated. I have this horrible problem. I almost never drink, but when I do, I have a hard time stopping.
Okay.
So I don't drink very often.
Right.
She pulls me aside and goes, "Daniel, you're already drunk. You can't have any more. I just, you're gonna be hungover as a." And I was like, "Okay, you know what? She's being the responsible one. I'll listen."
Mm.
She goes to the bathroom, and I hear my sister yell sibling shots. And I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm a sibling."
It's her wedding.
Yeah, but
if she wants to have a shot with her brother,
but because to my ex-wife, I just didn't listen when she had tried to be nice about it.
If it makes you feel better, at that moment, at my current wife, I didn't listen.
Yeah,
and
that's why it reminded me of that story, was because she literally got up and walked because she had to go use the bathroom. And so now in her head, I have to babysit my husband. He never listened.
She was in the right there.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I was not, because Jackie came back and saw I had another one, and she just looks at me and goes, "Where did you get that?" And all I did was look at her.
Mead wench.
No, I looked at her and went, "Bitches."
But I do think it made for a good story down the road.
Yeah.
But she was not pleased with me for like a week.
Yeah, the night I yelled at, telling him that he smelled like the inside of my jockstrap, was also not real thrilled. And he's just like, "You have a big mouth for one who sits upon a rock drunken."
That's why my mouth is big.
And I was just like, "Yeah, and I got sunburned, so I can't feel shit. You want to fight about it?"
You want to fight about it? You want to fight about it?
And then he got out of the ring. So I was like, "Oh fuck, wait."
I thought I was just allowed to accost the performers.
No.
Where were we at on this?
Faramir and Denethor.
Oh. Faramir is just the weirdest character to read in these books because of just how different he is from if you watch the movies first.
Yeah.
Because he's a lot more composed, a lot more sure of himself.
He's Chibi Aragorn.
He is.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can handle the ring. What the fuck do you mean? Why the fuck are you here? Go to the mountain.
He's all like, "I did my best, Dad. Woo."
He's just sitting there taking his fingers doing this.
There's this girl who watches my stream who tries to get me to say ooh woo.
I know, I love it. I love it every time I see your stream.
I made you say ooh woo.
I encourage that person too much to fuck with you.
Yeah. Oh, jams.
I do feel kind of bad when I do that because I'm like, I feel like I'm manipulating a 12-year-old. I can't remember how old they actually are.
She's 9, I think.
Yeah, young. I'm literally trying to get a child to fuck with Ryan.
Last time we did Minecraft multiplayer, she blew up my house. So. And that was the last time we did Minecraft multiplayer.
That's funny. Oh my!
We spent the entire previous stream, me and like 3 or 4 people all building that house, and she's like, "Hot wall."
Well, ooh, girl's an arsonist.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Denethor's fine.
Denethor is actually one of the characters that people get really mad about the Peter Jackson adaptation.
Yeah, because he's not as well, I mean, Faramir doesn't have the issues he has from like in the films because Denethor isn't like that.
I mean, he is, but
to a lesser degree,
he's a lot less villainous about it.
Yes, I agree.
There's levels of like douchebaggery, and Peter Jackson's like, we need
to up it.
Again, and a very Hollywood thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna make this guy just disgustingly eat.
The general audience doesn't understand subtle, so I need to turn it up.
The book plays him as a lot more intelligent and insightful, which that's his character. Like he's a man, but he can like intellectually like go fisticuffs with Gandalf. And he is a dick to Faramir, and he says he still has like the line like, Faramir's like, would you wish that I would have died in Boromir's place? He still said yes, I wish that. And he's still a dick, but they just play it a whole lot different in the movie.
I want the good son.
Yeah.
The vibe is.
Is it Elijah Wood or Macaulay Culkin?
I love he had to remove his glasses for that.
Yeah, because I get that reference.
He's like,
I get that reference.
I like that movie entirely too much.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid, but I really liked it when I was I remember it scaring me when I was a kid.
Right now I'm rewatching Monster because I found the English dub on YouTube. Wait, by the way, I don't know what I was expecting for Johann's voice in the English dub, but like a slight lisp and a whisper was not it. Yeah, like there's just, it's not like overly exaggerated. It's like a dude is doing a halfway impersonation of a stereotypically gay character, and that's the voice Johann has.
I
don't
and then I looked up the voice actor, same English voice actor as Hisoka, and I'm like, So you're just like voicing the bad guys,
the crazy bad guys. Is Hisoka really a bad guy?
This little boy is turning me on. yes, he is a villain.
Okay, he's a villain. I'm gonna chew you up with my rubber gum.
I don't remember any of that.
It's rubber with the consistency of gum.
I think Hunter x Hunter is absolutely worth a reread.
It's amazing.
I still will fight anybody who says it's better than Yu Yu Hakusho.
Same, but
it's really good.
I don't think I have.
Hunter x Hunter.
I don't think
the Dark Tournament.
I don't know. I remember reading those, like they were so sparsed out because they kept getting like.
He
kept on a hiatus.
I have all of it that's been published.
Because he kept almost dying.
I may need to borrow those.
He's still on a hiatus.
Yeah, I should borrow those from you at some point.
But it's like 30 some.
Right.
I think there are 38 volumes out.
I remember it was very intermittent that we would be reading.
But it is very good. It's worth the read.
Let's check it out.
And especially since there's a Kuwabara. Like, he's straight Kuwabara. He looks exactly like Kuwabara.
You're meshy.
I can't remember his name.
You're meshy.
We're an anime podcast now.
Hunter. I don't know his name. Kuwabara character, yeah.
Oh my god, I just came up with a fun idea, but I don't want to be recorded saying it.
So this is
the pompadour hair. I love it.
This is a guy from Hunter x Hunter. He's Kuwabara.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. There's also a Cell Frieza villain.
100%.
Yeah.
The Ant King. Oh, yeah. I can't remember his name.
That's the best arc.
Yeah, I'm like in the last 2 episodes of that arc. Anyway.
Actual zero knowledge.
It's really good.
Mary's dope.
Mary.
Yeah, we love Mary.
Mary.
Yeah, love Mary in this one. I feel like he's like, I shouldn't say most unchanged, but like in the parallel to the movie, to the book, like I think what we get is almost exactly, not beat for beat, but it's pretty close.
His story is, there's not like a lot to it.
No.
So it's very well adapted in the movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's really like no change. The only change that they make in the movie is a change that I like. Is in the book, he's too injured to go to the Battle of the Black Gates, and he gets left behind. In the movie, Peter Jackson says, "Fuck that, he's going."
Yeah.
We're gonna send.
He deserves us.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like when in the stupid It Chapter 2, they leave. In the book, they leave Mike behind, and Mike gets to go to the sewer.
We don't want to take the black one.
They ruin that movie. Completely ruins his character, but at least he gets to go to the sewer.
The movie somehow made him worse.
Yeah. But at least he got to go to the final showdown.
I guess.
Yeah.
Instead, they just had the black one drug all of his friends without telling him.
Oh, by the way, yeah, he's also a drug addict.
Sorry.
Oh, Stephen King.
No, it wasn't him. That wasn't in the book. That was in the movie.
It's Andy Muschietti.
He's like, let's make him a drug addict.
Director of such great movies as Chapter 2 and The Flash.
What am I? Oh, I'm thinking of that. Okay, all right. Mixing canon again.
That's okay.
You got the 6-pounders over here. You got the 12-pounders over here. Okay, Daniel, do you have any thoughts on Mary?
No,
Mariotic Brandy
not
book?
really.
Okay, that's fine. All right, the Rohirrim, just kind of grouping Eowyn and Theoden. I mean, we already talked about Eowyn and how her scene is so cool.
Boss ass bitch.
Yeah.
We love it.
Yeah.
I do like boss ass bitches.
Yeah.
We love it.
She's like the best kind of girl boss.
Yes.
Wait, is that an okay thing? Never mind. It doesn't matter.
I mean, we're already here. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm here. Everyone already thinks I'm the sexist one.
Sometimes I use these terms because I hear them, people use them, but I don't know, like...
The context?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I shouldn't... Whatever.
You're talking to...
boss ass bitch is still kind of okay.
She's a boss ass
You're
bitch.
talking to the guy who didn't remember what throwing shade was as a term and instead used the term tossing curtains.
I'm...
I thought that was me.
That was me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm terminally online. I'll help your guys with your verbiage.
No, that was me. You were the one who didn't know that Old Boys was a bad thing.
I apparently still don't know. I don't remember that one either.
Okay.
God, I hate false memories.
We don't need to get into that.
It's okay.
Okay, we talked about the dead man. I really like Theoden. I think it'd be a crime to not talk about Theoden at least for a minute. Like
this is the father of Eowyn and Éomer? Uncle, right, okay, but he's the king.
The king of Rohan.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm here.
See, he's there.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
There are a lot of characters in this.
There are a lot of characters.
So it's hard to keep
Bonus
them
points.
straight.
What was this horse's name?
John.
Shadowfang.
Snowmane.
Dick. Yeah. Idiot.
I took a shot in the dark.
I said John.
What did you guys think about the Theoden charge of the Rohirrim, like the Rohirrim showing up at the Battle of the Pelennor Fields?
I mean, it's a good battle, so...
Okay.
Battles in the books are not really what I focused a whole lot on.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, to be fair, neither did Tolkien.
Yeah.
I mean, in this one, it was focused on a little bit more. Like, you got a little bit more descriptions of fights and battles in this one.
Yeah.
And not just from them going, oh yeah, we went and we had this battle and it was cool. It was like, a lot of it was happening in the moment.
We had this battle and it was cool.
Well, because in the first two books, a lot of the story was told by, like, Gandalf showed up and went, oh yeah, I was in jail for like 3 days.
There's a lot less of that in Return of the King.
And in
It
Return of the
mostly
King,
happens.
A lot of it happens in the moment.
Yeah.
Instead of characters recapping to each other.
I did notice that was, that didn't happen
I think
in
that
this one.
it's mostly done in Fellowship. There's still a good bit of it in Two Towers, but less. But then there's very little in Return of the King, except for like at the end where they're all talking to each other.
It still happened, and it's not so much as a criticism as I'm not used to a story being told this way.
Because there's only one man in history good enough to get away with it.
Yeah. Like, if you tried to do it these days, I felt like somebody would just call it the exposition novel.
Okay, what about the Woses? The Woolly Men. The Druidine.
Oh god, I don't remember this at all.
The Woses!
These were like the tribal dudes.
The tribal dudes.
They were like out in the wilderness, and they didn't like the civilization peoples.
The Horsemen.
They were like, we don't like you and your tools and your women's rights.
But we don't like the orcs as more. We won't fight in your horseman's war, but we'll help you get there.
But we're just racist enough to join hands.
I guess I vaguely...
We will get you to the people of the White Castle, but then after that you must promise to leave the woolly men alone.
Yeah,
Woolly bully!
And they talk like that.
Yeah.
They did talk in choppy sentences.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I can't remember because I don't remember everything from the book, even though I just recently finished it. I can't remember if that was like if they had their own language or if they were being portrayed as not as smart with language. I can't remember.
They had their own language.
So they were speaking
Westron, which is the
that,
common tongue.
Okay, that's not as bad as like portraying them as
dumb Aborigines.
I was gonna say hillbillies.
Yeah.
But that...
Alright, let's talk about some villains.
I do like the villains in this book.
Saruman, Sharky, Wormtongue.
That I all think is really great. Especially just because it's so different from the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot... Because you get a lot of dramatic deaths for villains, especially in fantasy books.
Mm-hmm.
But do you get some good dramatic downfalls? Like... You had literally everything. You had the power of the gods at your fingertips or your wand or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're like just a homeless guy. with the one other guy that can stand you.
Wormtongue.
Yeah. Like
And Wormtongue hates him. They just have like this horrible toxic relationship.
But like, what else does Wormtongue have?
Yeah, he has nothing else.
Even though other people are like, hey, listen, you can cut your hair. Well, you'll probably have to date a fat chick, but you can probably do it.
Saruman is Lord Zed.
Power Rangers.
Yeah, but I just like it's
Robert Axelrod.
It's a good downfall, and again, you get Gandalf coming up to him and like kind of berating him just a little bit.
Yeah,
and that's kind of cool. Well,
he's still like pretty fair.
Yeah, that's what it's just a little. It's just enough to be like, have you learned your lesson? But yeah, you don't get a lot of that, so I enjoyed it. I was like,
I think it's great.
You get a good downfall comeuppance that isn't just a dramatic death.
I just think Saruman being a whipped ass is funny.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine Christopher Lee playing that.
I know,
version.
and I did, and it's still funny.
I was like an old beggar.
It's still Christopher Lee in my head. So
yeah.
That's hard to separate.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, which is funny because the Gandalf in my head is the cartoon character.
I do actually remember, like, when I was reading this, like, I also, because, fucking Google knows everything, like, I was scrolling through and there was the thing where Peter Jackson was talking about how it was during when Saruman gets stabbed, and he's like, I need you to make this noise, and he just looks at him and goes, that's not
the noise he makes.
That's not the make when he gets stabbed, because he knows what it sounds like when someone gets stabbed.
Because he used to kill people for a living.
Yeah. And
he was a spy in World War II and a Nazi hunting her after.
And I was reading this as I read that, and it made it funnier, because I'm just sitting there being like, Christopher Lee's being just like, again, the whipped ass of the Lord of the Rings world.
He was also the only member of the cast and crew of those movies who actually met Tolkien.
Mm-hmm. It's cool. He's just a cool, like,
he was friends with Ian
There are
Fleming.
very few...
He was apprentice to Darth Sidious.
There are very few, like, celebrities that I feel like I should read about, and Christopher Lee is one of those.
Yeah,
like,
that's like, there may be a biography of Christopher Lee, but that's definitely one I would be interested in
I feel like
reading.
Christopher Lee became an actor because he was bored.
Yeah.
They were like, we're not going to let you hunt Nazis anymore. And he's like, well, I got to do something.
I got a sports-related injury hunting Nazis, so now I have to act.
It's basically the same job. I just get way, way, way more money.
Yeah. I'm not doing Hammer films. Oh, okay. Witch King. It's fine.
Yeah. I'm glad he got killed by no man.
And Mary.
And Mary.
And Will Mary.
Yeah.
Who is not a man.
Who is not a man.
Yeah,
he is male.
Holy shit.
He's a half man.
I just put that together. Huh. Okay.
He was killed by two beings who are not men.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like to make pretend that was a literal power of his. Men just can't kill me, and somebody read the contract and went, loophole.
That's funny.
One of your genie wishes was, I wish no man could kill me, and the genie's like, alright, I guess.
We'll draft this up.
And then Hillary Clinton caps you in the ass.
Yeah. Whoops.
Sorry, Bill.
Yeah, Bill's a whipped ass too.
Bill's fucking my wife me too.
All right, last character, the villain, Sauron. So you've now read all of the Lord of the Rings, and the big bad is Sauron. What are your thoughts on this character?
I just love him.
I just love him.
I just love that we don't ever really get him.
Yeah.
Like,
has this type of villain ever been done? I can't even think of people trying to replicate this.
I think most people, they try to replicate it with a actual physical presence, and
well, then that's
again that takes away from the beauty of it.
The closest thing we ever get is sometimes in cosmic horror, when you're dealing with the effects that the thing has, but the thing is so beyond your comprehension you never actually get to see the thing.
Yeah.
That's the closest example I have.
The Crimson King, and then we got the Crimson King.
Take it away. Take it away.
Imagine if that's how this book ended. Sauron's just at the top of the tower, throwing sticks at the Hobbit.
No, he was throwing
Snitches.
Golden snitches. Bitches get snitches.
Give me back my ring. It would ruin the mystique.
It would.
And like you, at the same time, you kind of want more, but I would rather be left wanting more than left disappointed.
Sauron is Liberace.
Yeah.
So
it's the king of Werewolf Island, man.
Barrow.
She's a furry.
Kill you all! I'll drive you crazy, and I'll kill you all! I'm every nightmare you ever had. I am your worst dream come true. I'm everything you ever were afraid of.
Scary shit. Is this book scary?
No.
Yeah, no.
Not like. I think that the description of like the hunger and the drought that Frodo and Sam go through isn't so much scary, but it's like very uncomfortable. Like,
yeah, I mean, it would suck.
Yeah, I sympathize hard when like characters in books like have to go without food for a long period of time because I'm me, but
because I'm me.
But yeah, no, not scary.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like the Scouring of the Shire, you could say like. It'd be terrifying to like leave home for an extended amount of time and you come back and everything has changed for the worse. Yeah.
This place sucks now.
It's like cut down my pine tree.
It's like The Rock when he came back home.
They closed the Green Dragon. Do you think he's alive somewhere? The Rock.
The Rock?
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh! Holy shit. I have to tell you guys about this. Alright, well, no, let's just do it now. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. The people who are listening to this are okay with the side tangents, and
they have to be at this point.
They have to be.
They're okay with the nonsense.
So, there is a new Stephen King short story collection coming out, and there's two things you have to know about it.
Okay.
One, every story takes place within the world of The Stand, and two, none of them are written by Stephen King. It is called The End of the World as We Know It, New Tales of Stephen King's The Stand. It's a bunch of modern authors who have gotten together to write stories within that world, and it's authorized by Stephen King, and he writes the introduction for it. It's the first time he's ever allowed someone else to write within his universe.
Huh.
He's finally gonna let them H.P. Lovecraft his universe.
Yeah, and the cover is super old school.
It is, yeah.
I love it.
That looks like a book that was published in the 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
It says pre-order when August 19th? That's not
it comes out in August.
That's not too far away.
Yeah, and I know I've read two of the authors who've written for this are Star Wars authors that I've read before. And Almakatsu of the Werewolf fame, she also writes one of these stories.
That says Wayne Brady.
Yeah, I'm wondering, is that whose line? Wayne Brady?
It's Wayne Brady. There's only one.
You sure?
I wasn't.
Aren't there a bunch of football Bradys?
Yeah, but none of them are Wayne.
Aren't they the Brady Bunch? There's a story
of a black guy singing.
But yeah, no, I thought it was a really cool thing.
Dude, put that
put
that on the list. That sounds dope.
The short list? Okay.
Yeah, put it on the short list. I like that.
I thought he was going to tell us that he was coming out with another Dark Tower, and I was going to scream.
I thought he was getting ready to tell us it was another movie adaptation and The Rock was in it.
I guess we were talking about rocks.
Yeah. The Dark Tower prequel.
I'll put it
The Rock.
I'll put it below Dune and above I found puppets living in my apartment walls.
Oh my god, are you Stephen King? No, I'm Dean Koontz. Oh.
Let's start the wind down. We're moving on to Kings and Koontz. For me, my king, it's really hard. It's either Sam or the appendices. I adore the appendices. Sometimes I've actually read the appendices more than I've read Return of the King, because sometimes I just download it and just listen to the appendices. but I'm a nerd, so.
I say you're much more highbrow than I am.
And then Sam, this is Sam's book. Sam is everything in me. Like, the best parts of this book are all Sam, and so I can't choose. Those are my kings. They're, Jesus had 3 kings, but I have 2, and they're Sam and the appendices. Hef.
Saruman being the whipped ass was just entirely too funny to me, because the previous experience of the films did nothing but highlight how absolutely hilarious this was. Bless you.
Daniel.
2 things. A big one was a lot of this, the story was told in the moment. It wasn't a lot of exposition recap. I feel like that helped a few of the scenes, including the my backup, which was the "I am no man" scene was in the book. I was like, okay, cool.
They had a lot of good moments in the book. Yeah, definitely.
And then for Koontz, I still think he could have come up with a better name than Sharky. That's my Koontz. I think he was just the book is almost over, and he's just like, Edith, Sharky. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
I just want to publish the Silmarillion.
Okay, Koontz.
My Koontz is, again, something I have with basically almost every book, because I'm a child when I read. And that's just, I enjoyed what we got out of it, but having so many instances of being are we done yet, kind of just gets to me.
You're like Ice Cube, and you're trying to drive your kids on vacation, and they just won't shut up. You're like Shrek, and you're trying to take Fiona to see her parents, and Donkey's just like, I wasn't there yet.
Have you guys heard what the plot for the new Shrek movie is, allegedly?
Yeah, I forget it. I saw the teaser.
Shrek goes to the real world, and his kids have to go rescue him.
Oh, I didn't. That wasn't the teaser video I saw. Never mind.
That's apparently what the leaked script is.
That doesn't sound very good.
Is Shrek ends up in the real modern day world.
Like the Smurfs movie?
Like the Smurfs movie. His daughter has to travel to the real world.
I don't want that. I want another. I'm fine with another Shrek movie, but I don't want that.
Have you heard any of the King of the Hill leaks yet?
No, I've been missing them on purpose. But
okay,
you can go ahead. I don't care.
We'll do it after we're done recording.
Okay.
After we watch historically accurate Aladdin.
Koontz?
The 2 songs I still had to listen to.
Yeah. There's only a couple.
Yeah, there's only a couple. That was almost my king. There's only 2 songs.
But they left out the best song. Granted.
If there was a whip, there's a way in there. Was in there. I would have been like, the song's gonna pass.
All right, we'll watch historically accurate Aladdin, and we'll show Hef if there's a whip. There's a whip.
I've never seen this yet.
Okay. All right. Rankings. Hef, you're up.
The Return of the King. Actually, yeah, that's about right.
So it's your number 8.
Yeah.
Above The Hobbit and below The Fellowship of the Ring. Mm-hmm. So your official order, your favorite is The Two Towers, followed by The Fellowship, followed by Return of the King.
Yeah.
Okay.
Surprisingly, that's usually, if you had to stack it on films too, that's actually about where they land.
Okay. Daniel, here's where you have the other 3. Not saying you have to put it there. It can be way lower or higher, whatever you want to do. It's your list.
No, I think I liked it more than The Two Towers.
Really?
So I'll put it at 11.
At 11. So that's below Frankenstein and above The Two Towers. So your preference is The Return of the King, The Two Towers, and then The Hobbit, and then The Fellowship of the Ring. And then you had The Hobbit at the bottom of your list.
Yeah.
Because you're a fuck.
Well, I mean, I am. It's fine.
So I did... I almost don't want to count it, because I was reading The Return of the King during an extremely stressful time. So, and I was kind of like, oh, this is the read where I'm going to finally decide, is Lord of the Rings better than The Hobbit, or is The Hobbit better? And then I had a really good experience with Fellowship and Two Towers, and then Return of the King was really stressful, and I just wasn't really able to focus on it like I should have because of Drake being in the hospital. And so I'm gonna say my opinion remains unchanged, and I'm going to put The Hobbit at number 1, followed by The Fellowship, Two Towers, and Return of the King. At different points in time, all 3 of these have been my favorite. I think at this current point in time, The Fellowship is my favorite because it has the most like world building. But honestly, I could put Two Towers or Return of the King. Like, if you ask me tomorrow, I might flip them. But it's really one book, and I just really like it. All right, homework. You've now read The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Give me your final thoughts, your updated thoughts. Do you think you're going to read further into the world of Middle-earth? Do you think you'll reread these books? Have you been rewatching the movies? What are kind of your updated, like, overall thoughts on the movies as well? Daniel?
Okay, we'll do these in order. Okay, so updated thoughts on Lord of the Rings. Reading them, you can see, like, how it's basically influenced everything.
It's the origin seed.
Yeah, I mean...
It's that first mammal.
D&D, current fantasy stories, Game of Thrones would not exist in the form that they do without it, so... It's very, the books, I've said this throughout, like, reading all of them, they feel very mythological, the worlds feel very lived in and real, as opposed to some worlds that feel kind of, inorganic.
This king is bad and we must stop him.
Is his name Steven?
Yes. He looks the same as my brother, the gunslinger.
So
he looks like my father.
I think they're very good. I don't think I'm ever going to read them again, or at least not anytime soon. Mostly just because I have such a backlog of books to work on as it is. I was rewatching the movies. I talked about that. I ended up missing Return of the King. I don't think I'm going to make the time for it now because I just got so much other crap I want to watch. I do not see myself reading the Silmarillion.
Unless I make you.
Unless you make me.
Payback for Lolita.
That's not even funny.
That's not even funny.
No, it'll be real funny when I rank it below.
What? You ranked all the rest of them below Lolita.
No, that's true. I forgot.
It's funny to tell people I've read that book now, and like the skosh few people that actually know what that book is, they just look at me funny afterwards.
You prevert.
No, I've read that book, and they're like... And then, like...
Captain Nemo's in the movie!
Well, they look at me funny, and then, like, I'll look at them funny, because now I know they know what that book is, which makes it funnier. It's like, we both know what this is.
We don't know which one of us isn't to be trusted.
Which one of us is the more debaucherous one?
They probably just saw the Jeremy Irons movie on Showtime when they were 9.
And I guess final thoughts is... Not across the board, but in general, it makes the movies worse. There are a few things in the movies that I think are either more accessible or decent changes, but for the most part, it makes the entirety of the story that's being told worse.
Yeah, I don't think there's really an argument that the movies they're definitely more accessible. I mean, that's like most of the changes that are made are like simplifying things to make them more accessible.
Make it more accessible.
Yeah.
But.
Final thoughts. I'm glad I read them. Like, never. If it weren't for this podcast, I'd have never read them. That's just an indisputable fact. I would not have read them if it wasn't something we were doing. At the moment, I probably won't delve deeper, mainly just because.
Unless I make you.
Unless you make me, I will not rate it lower than Lolita.
My God.
That makes you feel better.
You say that now.
It's just Lord of the Rings has just the overall impression of it is just an immense work that's not just contained in the volumes that we read for this podcast, which does make it intimidating for somebody like me. If I might reread them at some point. I don't have a definitive answer on that one, just because it's going to take something along the lines of me having a hyper focus. That's generally how I end up rereading things or revisiting things, is I get like a hyper focus on something that will trigger something again, and I'll just go whole hog into it, because that's generally how my brain works. I did rewatch the films, and much like Daniel, I am both proud and sad to say that, yeah, reading these books does make the movies lesser as far as an overall experience, because, again, some of the best parts in the books are the hobbits. Those are my favorite, like, really parts of the books are the stuff that's involving the hobbits. And in the movies, to me, they're kind of the most contentious thing about the films, is like, because I feel like some of them just don't get the payoffs they need. The bickering back and forth between Sam and Frodo is something I actively dislike. You get the best of the hobbits in the novels. You do not get the best of the hobbits in the movies. Like, the movies glorify, like, the warfare and everything else, which is just a stark difference from what the novels do. So I have a little bit of a pride thing now, where being able to understand the people who, because you probably heard comments, or you may have been one of them, like, I remember hearing something once of, like, somebody, I was like talking about the Lord of the Rings movies or whatever like that, and the guy just was like, I didn't care for the Jackson interpretations. I never really understood what that meant until I started reading these. It's the same world, it's the same characters, it's the same universe, but it's so tonally different from what the films do, and I think it hurts the films. I do. That being said, they will still be films I revisit every now and then, but I will now go into them kind of thinking, book did better with this, or something like that. As you do when you read material versus, like, watching it. So.
Majority of the time, the book's better. Not always.
No, but most of the time it is.
I think we did a top 5 of movies that are better than the books. I think we did.
Yeah.
But still, I'd say more often than not, the book is better.
Mm-hmm. Well, and this is better these are better in the ways that I wanted the movies to be better, which they just didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not saying, like I said, movies do have stuff that's accessible and good. So that's not to say that the movies are they're not bad films at all.
No.
But reading the source material, again, I got more, there's just things I wanted that I got from the books that I just didn't get from the movies, and now it's recognizable.
Yes.
There are much more interesting books out there. Remind me to lend you some Danielle Steele.
Let's jump into further reading. Obviously, the next thing, if you really like these, and the next thing is, logically, is the Silmarillion. But if you're a little intimidated by the Silmarillion, I have a recommendation for you to kind of test your waters and some Tolkien that's past The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, but not as hefty or dense as the Silmarillion, and that's a recent publication called The Fall of Numenor by j.r.r. Tolkien, which it's a compilation of, it takes pieces from the Unfinished Tales, the Silmarillion, various unpublished materials of Tolkien, and the appendices of the Lord of the Rings, and it tells the entire history of the Second Age from start to finish. And it's a lot easier to parse than the Silmarillion. It's a lot lighter of a read, but it similarly to the Silmarillion it's basically a fictional history book. So if you want to read the Silmarillion, but you're thinking maybe I want to dip my toes a little bit, I think The Fall of Numenor is a good way to start. Okay, cool. All right, let's wind this down. As we get out of here, Hef, since we've had some extra time, since we don't do as many episodes, and since we've been on hiatus, what are some of the other things that you've been reading?
So I actually decided to go back in time a bit to...
Gotta get back in time.
I've mentioned a couple times on the podcast that one of my favorite books is it's called The Girl with the Pearl Earring. It's one of my favorite. It's probably solidified.
Is that the French one, or is this the dragon?
No, this is it's about a girl. It's about a painting. It's a real painting painted by an artist named Vermeer, and the book is basically giving a fictionalized account of the girl who's painted in the painting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like historical fiction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
It was my favorite book in high school.
After the Please Twins novelization.
I just got a better ending.
he chose the right girl.
He chose the other one. I'm just like
Karen.
Yeah, I was like, man, this is just straight up better. This is just like, anyway. Fuck, where was I going? Okay, yeah. So I recently got the audiobook version of it, just to kind of revisit it. Fell in love with it all over again. It's now solidified as like my favorite book probably ever. So I decided to go down a rabbit hole of her other works because I actually hadn't read any. She has like, I don't know, 10 plus books that I just never read. Her name is Tracy Chevalier. She's a French author, I believe, is what that last name is. Chevalier. Yeah, it's a wonderful book. It's really short. You just have to experience it. It's a beautiful book. But I went down a rabbit hole of a bunch of her books. One was the most recent ones I read was the Glassmaker at the Edge of the Orchard and
The Glassmaker at the Edge of the Orchard.
No, the Glassmaker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then the Edge of the Orchard.
And then at the Edge of the Orchard.
Okay.
Yeah.
He really likes these French books.
He's fancy.
I call I call them my early stage menopause books.
Can't be talking like that.
I know.
Oh, the cover of this book is sweet.
It's gorgeous. Yeah. It's
all
of her stuff is like historical fiction. Like it's all. She usually finds like a trade that somebody did like back in early history, and that's like the setting is the trade and the time frame in which it's in, and then like it's usually the story is focused around the characters that work those odd trades and various things. I will say that I have not enjoyed the other books of hers that I've read. They have their ups, but they're just not the girl with the pearl earring. Like that is, to me, that is the closest. It's a flawless book.
Better luck next time.
Yeah.
All right. Daniel, what have you been reading?
Alrighty. I have been reading the Final Fantasy VII novels. Ryan, ask me how they are.
How are they?
Well, they're no silverized.
That's bad.
I've been waiting to say this line.
Wait, Silverized is the first one?
It's the first one.
Okay, so
they're
that one's
they're better than the twisted ones.
Okay.
But
well, Silverized isn't that bad.
Yeah. I've been waiting like a month to use this line.
All right, well, I'll just let you summarize them for me someday instead of me reading them.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Unless you're like so
uber nerd,
like autistically hyper focused on Final Fantasy like I am right now, I wouldn't recommend
or
it.
even like specifically Final Fantasy VII. So I've been reading lots of Star Wars, but I also Emma and I recently listened to the audiobook together, The Wave. Have you guys read The Wave?
Is that one about like where they accidentally turn the kids into a cult?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, then yes.
It's a novel, but it's a dramatized version of a real event where a high school history teacher in Ohio accidentally started a cult in his class while trying.
That sounds amazing.
While trying to teach the kids about Nazi Germany.
Oh, that's my dream.
I mean, it's a really short book and it's really good. You would probably find it interesting. You should read it.
I remember because we read it in like middle school, I think.
Yeah, we read it. I know we read it for school, but I don't know when.
Yeah, I remember like being like weirded out by how like because like you're reading it and it's scary how the book makes you think. Like it does.
What would I have done in that situation?
I remember being like, holy shit.
And Emma and I had a pretty good discussion about genocide and groupthink and group mind afterwards.
Oh yeah,
it was pretty good.
I remember being very provocative.
And she was like, I hated that book, but everyone should read it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's up there with like things like like I said, like 1984 and shit. Like that's just a book you should, even if you don't like it, you still should read it.
Yeah, and the audiobook's like 3 hours. It's really short.
Nice.
And if nothing else, like I think Daniel, you'd read it and you'd probably just think that book was hilarious. That teacher was a dumbass.
It's no Ender's Game, but
I mean, I want to start a cult, so.
And then one of the other books I recently read is the Battle of Shiroyama by Charles Rivers, and it's a history book, basically about the real events that inspired the film The Last Samurai, and it actually, like, the introduction talks about the Tom Cruise movie The Last Samurai, and it's basically like, we're gonna tell you what really happened, and surprisingly, like, white samurai aside, the movie actually gets a lot of the historical events right.
So the movie made it
better. There actually was an American Army or he was Navy, but there was an American naval officer there attached to the Japanese Army as an advisor, but he did not go native.
Go native.
You don't understand. They get up every day and they practice their bows, and I like that.
Whatever their craft is, they are dedicated. But yeah, that was a really good book, because that's something Last Samurai is one of my favorite movies, and I know that it's not the most culturally sensitive movie, but I've always been curious about, like, the real events behind that. And I finally, like, pulled the trigger and read a book about it, and it was really good.
That movie's cinematography is fucking peak. Like, holy shit.
I think that the movie's just, like, outstanding in, like, almost every way that you can critique a movie. Like, that it just stands out. Like, acting, music, effects, action sequences, cinematography, like, it's just dialogue.
It's really good.
I love that movie. Maybe we'll do a bonus episode.
I would like that.
All right. Upcoming on the Horror of Babylon, we do have a tentative release schedule. I'm not going to give dates because it's probably going to change, but we will tell you the next 3 books we are reading are The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, At Night by Stephen King, At Night She Cries While He Rides His Steed by Ross Patterson, and Insomnia by Stephen King.
Which I started last night.
Yeah.
At Night She Rides, not Insomnia.
Yeah, I'm going to start it tomorrow, probably. I'm reading I'll talk about that in the next one. All right, we're going long. Thank you, patrons. Logan, Sierra, Ron, go shop at Four Horsemen. Read The Lord of the Rings. Watch The Lord of the Rings. Play the games, and
just fucking enjoy life, people.
Yeah, read some cool stories about elves. Daniel and Hef, thank you for humoring me and reading all these books.
I love humoring you.
Yeah.
I also just enjoy the experience, honestly. Yeah. It was cool.
And it's better than the fucking Five Nights at Freddy's books.
I mean, like, what's the competition here? The Confederado.
I think even the Twisted Ones blows the Confederado out of the water, and oh my god, the Twisted Ones was so aggravating. What's your favorite line?
I am Springtrap. That's so fucking funny.
What if at the end of the book, Sauron, like, hops out of the tower and says, I am Sauron!
That's why it's so stupid.
Alright,
I'm kind of hoping he uses that line in the next Five Nights at Freddy's movie and says it just like that.
Maybe. When is that coming out?
I think this year.
Oh,
yeah, that's on the docket for this year. Lily is...
We'll have to do an episode on that. Yeah, it is this year.
Yeah, Lily is
November. Okay, so that'll be next season. All right, yeah, we'll see. We'll do that. All right, thank you to our patrons. Stay tuned for our socials, and stay scary.
We should make a bingo
scary
for it.
Sure. Yeah. If we can get, like, somebody to drive, like, we could do drinks too.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Bye.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share, and subscribe. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher, and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/the Horror of Babylon. In closing, you can let your friends know that the Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, and all other major podcast apps. Stay scary.